Good afternoon and welcome to the Public Service Commission of South Carolina. It is Thursday, September 28th at 2 p.m. and we are convening for our regularly scheduled business meeting. Let's take a roll call of commissioners. Present in the hearing room, we have Commissioner Justin Williams, Vice Chair Powers, Commissioner Carolee Williams, Commissioner Caston, and Chair Belser. Attending virtually, we have Commissioner Irvin and Commissioner Thomas. Before we begin with our posted agendas, please join me for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Scarborough.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Powers and Commissioners. First item of business is to set the next regularly scheduled business meeting. Staff recommends that the next Commission business meeting be held Thursday, October 5th, 2023 at 2 o'clock p.m.
Our next regularly scheduled business meeting will be next Thursday, October 5th, beginning at 2 p.m.
Today we have 14 items on the utilities agenda and 10 items on the transportation agenda. Items numbered 1 and 2 relate to the same issue and can be taken together. Item number 1 appears in docket number 2023-275C. This is a motion from Bell South Telecommunications, LLC, to dismiss or, in the alternative, to hold in abeyance the complaint filed by Pravin B. Patel in this docket. Item number 2 is in docket number 2023-273E. This is a motion from Dominion Energy, South Carolina, to dismiss the complaint filed by Pravin B. Patel in this docket and to request to toll the hearing date and testimony filing deadlines for all parties.
Commissioners, we've heard agenda items 1 and 2 as identified by Mr. Scarborough. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Irvin is recognized.
Thank you. I move that the Commission grant the motions to dismiss filed by Bell South AT&T and Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated. The Commission does not have the subject matter jurisdiction to hear the complaints of Mr. Patel. The Commission does not have the ability to grant damages sought by Mr. Patel. Therefore, I move that the Commission dismiss both of these complaints, direct the clerk's office to cancel a hearing scheduled in these dockets. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Commissioners, we've heard Commissioner Irvin's motion on items 1 and 2. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 3 was removed from the agenda because the Commission already has acted on it. Items numbered 4 and 5 can be taken together as well. Item number 4 appears in docket number 2016-149E, which is a request by Duke Energy Progress, LLC, for approval of its Smart Saver Energy Efficiency Program, Early Replacement and Retrofit Program. Item number 5 appears in docket number 2013-298E, which is a request from Duke Energy Carolinas, LLC, for approval of its residential Smart Saver Energy Efficiency Program, Early Replacement and Retrofit Program.
Commissioners, we've heard agenda items 4 and 5 as identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Chair Belser, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Carolee Williams is recognized.
I move that the Commission approve the application of Duke Energy Progress, LLC and Duke Energy Carolinas, LLC for approval of their energy efficiency programs. These are in the dockets of 2013-890. Not sure why. Let me start over. I move that the Commission approve the application of the Smart Saver Energy Efficiency Program, the Early Replacement Retrofit Program as filed by Duke Energy Progress, LLC, and Duke Energy Carolinas, LLC, in items 4 and 5, respectively.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Williams. Is there any discussion?
Chair Belser,
Commissioner Carolee Williams?
I'd just like to thank the companies for their thorough responses. We had about 10 questions, and they very quickly gave us much more information than we had originally received in the application, and it provided me with the confidence to support this motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Carolee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Urban,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 6 is in docket number 2022-398 WS. This involves a status update from Defusky Island Utility Company Incorporated, filed pursuant to Commission Order number 2023-396 and related procedural issues.
Commissioners, we've heard agenda item 6 is identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion, please.
Vice Chair Powers is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. By letter dated August 24th, 2023, the Fusky Island Utility Company Incorporated advised Commission is being prepared, that it's prepared to proceed when the abeyance expires, and that it anticipated being able to provide a more substantive update prior to the expiration of the abeyance on September 23rd, 2023. No update has been provided by Defusky to the Commission. I move that the Commission direct Defusky Island Utility Company Incorporated to provide an update to the Commission regarding this docket as stated in its letter of August 24th, 2023. This update must be provided to the Commission with copy to the Office of Regulatory Staff within 10 days from the date of service of this order. So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Vice Chair Powers. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Vice Chair Powers.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Caston?
Aye.
Commissioner Urban?
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Item number 7 appears in docket number 2009-199G. This concerns Amendment number 2 to the service agreement for natural gas on an interruptible basis, and Amendment number 2 to the transportation agreement between Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated and Lanxess Performance Materials LLC.
With regard to Utilities Agenda Item 7, as identified by Mr. Scarborough, is there a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Justin Williams is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, I move that the commission accept for filing Amendment 2 to the service agreement for natural gas on an interruptible basis, and Amendment 2 to the transportation agreement between Dominion Energy South Carolina and Lanxess Performance Material LLC. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Justin Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Justin Williams.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 8 is in docket number 2019-386E. Staff presents for Commission consideration acceptance for information purposes only of Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated's changes to its organizational chart.
With regard to Utilities Agenda Item 8, as identified by Mr. Scarborough, is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas.
I move that the commission accept for information the September 11th, 2023 notification filed by Dominion regarding the reorganization of Dominion's affiliate company, Public Service Company of North Carolina. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Thomas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 9 is in docket number 2019-239E, which involves Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated's temporary suspension of its appliance recycling program.
With regard to utilities, agenda item 9 is identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Caston,
by letter dated September 12, 2023, Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated advised the Commission of a temporary suspension of Dominion's appliance recycling program effective August 23, 2023. The temporary suspension is due to performance issues experienced by the program vendor, which resulted in units not being picked up. Dominion further advises that it will determine the restart date of appliance recycling program once a new vendor is secured. I move that the Commission approve the temporary suspension of Dominion's appliance recycling program and direct Dominion to notify the Commission and ORS prior to restarting the program. I so move.
Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Caston. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 10 appears in docket number 2023-189E. This involves final disposition of Santee Cooper's petition for approval of the acquisition of a major utility facility, Cherokee County Cogeneration Partners, LLC, in Gaffney, South Carolina.
With regard to utilities, agenda item 10, is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas,
I move that the Commission approve the acquisition of Cherokee County Cogeneration Partners, LLC, in Gaffney, South Carolina, a major utility facility by the South Carolina Public Service Authority, or Santee Cooper, pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Regs 103-825 and South Carolina Code Annotated Section 58-33-185. I further move that the Commission approve the name change on the Certificate of Environmental Compatibility and Public Convenience and Necessity issued by the Commission in order number 95-1198 and amended in order number 97-212 from Cherokee County Cogeneration Partners, LP, to Cherokee County Cogeneration Partners, LLC, and to recognize the change in upstream ownership of Cherokee County Cogeneration Partners, LLC. So moved.
thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Thomas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Item number 11 appears in docket number 2022-360A. This item involves final disposition in this docket.
With regard to utilities, agenda item 11 is identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Caston is recognized.
I move that the Commission grant the proposed amendments to Chapter 103, Article 4, Gas Systems, with the exception of proposed Subarticle 9, due to preemption by the South Carolina Eminent Domain Procedure Act. I further move that a complete list of the amendments shall be attached to the directive in addition to a full order. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Caston. Is there any discussion?
Chair Belzer,
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams is
thank you.
recognized.
I have got a substitute motion. I move that the commission grant the proposed amendments to Chapter 103, Article 4, Gas Systems, and reject Subarticle 9 as drafted, and instruct commission staff to develop a compliance reporting provision related to providing information to affected landowners. Specifically, I move commission staff to reschedule a new rulemaking limited in scope, which will relate to utilities involved in the construction and or extensions of pipelines filing reports with the commission in order to increase notice and transparency for affected property owners. Any reporting requirements would be limited to those utilities that seek to recoup costs associated with such construction and or extension of pipelines. The scope of the rulemaking would be limited and must not infringe upon the Eminent Domain Procedure Act. And at the appropriate time, I have a few comments.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we have a substitute motion from Commissioner Carol Lee Williams. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Carol Lee Williams is recognized.
Thank you, Chair Belzer. I will vote for Commissioner Caston's motion if my motion fails, but what I wanted to put on the record is that, and remind us all, that we heard in a public hearing from people who suggested that the utilities involved with this kind of planning can do better at sharing information. I don't want to exorbitantly run up cost. I don't want to stray outside of the law, and I understand that our lane is very limited, and this cannot conflict with the eminent domain laws. What this motion does do in a positive way is to ask for our staff to go back to the parties and for them to consider ways that best management practices for sharing information, many of which got mentioned in this public hearing, might be proposed and updated in our rulemaking process. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Carol Lee Williams. Is there any further discussion on the substitute motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Irvin?
Thank you. I support Commissioner Carol Lee Williams' substitute motion for the same reasons she has articulated, mainly that affected landowners deserve written notice prior to their property being taken through eminent domain. And I don't believe that the South Carolina Eminent Domain Procedures Act preempts our opportunity to regulate natural gas utilities as they make plans for expanding gas lines in South Carolina. Gas is unique in the sense that it can pose a risk of harm to not only property, but people that live on the property that's affected. And it's unfair to the landowners not to have prior written notice of the fact that their property is potentially in a line for an eminent domain proceeding or a taking by the state for the purposes of a natural gas pipeline. For those reasons, I will be supporting the substitute motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Caston?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Commissioner Williams. I actually wrote it, so I wouldn't mess it up. But I very much appreciate your perspective and the concerns you raise. However, I don't believe we have sufficient statutory authority to support new regulations related to the construction or extension of pipelines. And for this reason, I must respectively vote no.
Chair Belzer?
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams?
I just wanted to add two things, not in response to Commissioner Caston, but that some of the best management practices that we heard in this hearing were very simple. They were that people should hear the same thing at the same time. They should hear each other's questions. so that there is kind of a holistic view of what's happening. So it's an example of clear information. And then one of the participants said, the power of clear facts and the absence of clear facts leads to fear and anxiety. And that's really what motivates me, that I don't know what the solution is. I believe we should follow the law, and I think that my motion reflects that, and it gives the staff and the stakeholders an opportunity to very finely thread this needle toward transparency and clear information. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas?
thank you. I also appreciate the concerns here. My concern is that we're talking about pipelines, and we also regulate water companies and sewer companies, and they run pipelines as well. And to the best of my knowledge, we do not have this sort of regulation that impacts the water and the sewer companies. And I don't believe that the gas companies should be singled out. That's my concern. So I will respectfully not be supporting the substitute motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? Commissioner Carolyn Williams, I will not be supporting the substitute motion either. I would note that that does not preclude you from raising this issue later on. If the motion fails, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with it, but that does not preclude this concern you have from being raised at a later date.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Starting with, we're voting on the substitute motion, and we'll start with Commissioner Carolyn Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston?
No.
Commissioner Irvin?
Aye. Aye.
Yes, sir. I realized I needed to start keeping count. Commissioner Thomas?
No.
Commissioner Justin Williams?
For reasons stated earlier, respectfully, no.
Vice Chair Powers?
No.
And I respectfully vote no as well. The substitute motion fails. We will return to the main motion made by Commissioner Caston. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin?
No.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams?
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers?
Aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams?
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 12 appears in docket number 2023-5G. This is a petition to intervene filed on behalf of Donna L. Tillman Madian and Dominion Energy South Carolina's return in opposition and objection to the petition to intervene of Donna L. Tillman Madian.
With regard to utilities, agenda item 12 is identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Vice Chair Powers is recognized.
thank you. I move the commission deny the petition to intervene filed on behalf of Donna L. Tillman Mannion pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Regulation 103-825, Section A3. A petition to intervene must include 1, facts supporting the petitioner's right or interest, 2, the grounds for the proposed intervention, and 3, the position of the petitioner in this proceeding. Since the petition to intervene does not meet these requirements, it is therefore denied. So move.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Vice Chair Powers. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Vice Chair Powers.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Carolyn Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Caston?
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin?
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams?
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 13 appears in docket number 2023-315S. This is a request from Blue Granite Water Company for waiver of notice and hearing of the application for approval of a bulk service agreement with the City of Orangeburg Department of Public Utilities.
Commissioners, we've heard agenda item 13 identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Justin Williams?
Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, I move the commission deny Blue Granite Water Company's request for a waiver of notice of hearing of the application for approval of bulk service agreement with the City of Orangeburg Department of Public Utilities. I further instruct the clerk to issue a notice of filing and hearing and establish a procedural schedule for this docket. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Justin Williams. Is there any discussion? I think there was some confusion earlier from responses in this docket that the application for approval of the agreement was going to be discussed, and that is not what is on the agenda. The only item on the agenda is whether or not to waive notice of the filing, notice and hearing of the filing. So that's the only issue being discussed today. The application is not before us for approval at this time. Just want to clarify that. If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Justin Williams.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 14 is in dockets numbered 2023-38E and 2023-39E. Staff presents for commission consideration final disposition of these two dockets.
With regard to agenda item 14, is there a motion?
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Justin Williams?
I have a motion.
Okay.
I don't
Commissioner
wanna-
Irvin?
Play hot buzzer. I think Commissioner Irvin might have been first.
Commissioner Irvin?
Thank you. I move that the commission find that the 75 megawatt capacity threshold requirement to trigger the Siting Act should not be interpreted as either AC or DC. Instead, a major utility facility's megawatt rating is determined by the designed output of the electric generating plant. Under the Siting Act, quote, major utility facility, end quote, is defined as, quote, an electric generating plant and associated facilities designed for or capable of operation at a capacity of more than 75 megawatts, end quote. These dockets before the commission, which pertain to solar facilities, the evidence of record establishes that the electric generating plant consists of the solar panels and the inverters. To only concentrate on the solar panels or solar modules focuses only on one component of the electric generating plant. The inverters are a critical and integral part of the electric generating plant because without the inverters, the solar facility cannot provide the power to the electric system. The, quote, associated facilities, end quote, are the interconnection facilities such as substations or transformers which connect the generating plant to the electric transmission system. I move the commission find that the electric generating plant includes both the solar panels and the inverters, and that the design output of the electric generating plant is the capacity which would trigger the Siting Act. I further move that the commission find this decision comports with the plain reading of the statute and is supported by the legislative history of the statute and is consistent with industry practices. Accordingly, I move that the commission find that the Catalina facility at issue in these dockets is not a major utility facility, as the designed output of the electric generating plant is 74.97 megawatts. A full formal written order detailing these findings will be issued at a later date. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Irvin. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Justin Williams.
I had a motion that gets to the same place, but stated differently. So to that, I don't have really anything other to say than thank you, Commissioner Irvin, for knocking it out. I know that was some a lot of discussion about this case. For me, it was very, I hate to oversimplify things, but from a legal perspective, it was very clear to me that the intent of the solar generators is to produce 75 megawatts or less of generation. There's no intent to produce more than that. I find that the testimony by witness Cassis, I believe, excuse me, was very helpful in determining what the industry practice was since this program first started, as well as the witness, I forget his name now, who testified on behalf of the interest of solar generators. Again, my interpretation is based on industry practice and the intent, and finding that the statute would not allow solar generators like Catalina, Pine Gate, to me would lead to a result that's not intended by the statute. So, Commissioner Irvin, thanks again for your motion, and I respect my colleagues' opinions as they may be different from mine, but this is just my interpretation of the act and how it applies to the situation at hand. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Further discussion? Commissioner Caston?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and fellow commissioners. I respectfully cannot support the motion, and I considered this case on two levels. One, based on the law, which the Utility Facility Siting and Environmental Protection Act, otherwise known as the Siting Act, excuse me, and from the technical aspect as an engineer. I read the Siting Act multiple times. I found it to be unambiguous. I concur that the Siting Act is agnostic as to AC or DC. A watt is a measure of energy, as the expert witnesses confirmed. I also note that the Siting Act makes no reference to the grid, interconnection, or inverter, as most every witness acknowledged in hearing questioning. There was reference to the Siting Act having been adopted in 1971 and the General Assembly not considering solar development in the Act. I note that the General Assembly has modified the Act multiple times since 1971, with the most recent changes, excuse me, in 2021. The Siting Act is agnostic as to the generation type. It makes no attempt to allow a variance for one generation source over another. Relative to the technical aspects, technical experts confirmed in the hearing that the generation facility is designed for or capable of operation at a capacity of more than 75 megawatts, 98.89 megawatts to be precise. The inverters themselves are designed for or capable of operation at a capacity of more than 75 megawatts, 79.2 megawatts, according to the record. And the Siting Act has a clear environmental impact interest. The facility footprint is, I think, 600 acres, right around that. So from the plain language of the Siting Act and from a technical point of view, the Catalina facility is a major utility facility. Catalina facility has the capability and capacity to exceed 75 megawatts. And finally, I believe this interpretation would be totally indifferent to a generation source, solar panels in this case, that were 200 megawatts, 500, 1,000 megawatts or more, or the land disturbed. While stating no one component should be the focus, this definition focuses only on the inverter. This definition is indifferent to a 100 megawatt facility that covers 5,000 to 10,000 acres, provided an inverter throttles that wattage to 74.9999 to an infinity. provided an inverter throttles it below 75 megawatts. This definition implies that the Siting Act is totally indifferent to whatever the size of the generating system is. So, with that in mind, I respectfully will have to vote no on this motion.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Commissioner Thomas?
Thank you. And I agree with Commissioner Caston that the law is clear and unambiguous. And I agree that the issue of AC or DC is not relevant. My problem is I disagree with the definition of major utility facility. This facility is clearly designed for and capable of operation at a capacity of more than 75 megawatts. And it's clear by the testimony in the record. Additionally, the Siting Act does not mention the amount of megawatts that are pushed to or connected to the grid or to the transmission system. That is not what the Siting Act is about. So, additionally, I believe that this motion has the effect of changing the law. And I do not believe that we're allowed to change the law. I believe that that is the function of the General Assembly. So respectfully, for those reasons, I will not be supporting this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Vice Chair Powers?
I'm recused from this matter, did not participate and will not be voting.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any further discussion? We'll proceed to a roll call vote on Commissioner Irvin's motion, starting with Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas? I'm sorry, we didn't hear you. Commissioner Thomas?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Justin Williams?
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers is recused. Commissioner Carol Lee Williams?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Excuse me, Commissioner Caston, I didn't mean to jump ahead of you.
That's quite all right.
I
Madam Chair.
apologize.
I vote no, thank you.
I apologize. By a vote of 4-2, the motion, with one recusal, the motion passes.
Madam Chair, that completes the utilities agenda before the commission today. Moving on to the motor carrier agenda, items numbered 1 through 5 in Part A are requests for Class C and Class E certificates. Staff recommends that these items be taken together, and I will review them for the commission. Item number 1 appears in docket number 2023-305T, which is the application of Jacobs Infinity Luxury Transport LLC for a Class C taxi certificate. Item number 2 is in docket number 2023-307T, which is the application of Caring Man in a Van SC LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item number 3 is in docket number 2023-308T. This is the application of Luxury Limousines Incorporated for a Class C charter certificate. Item number 4 is in docket number 2023-309T. This is the application of SDK and International Limited Company doing business as Acorn Care Transport for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item number 4 is in docket number 2023-306T, which is the application of Elite Moving and Installation LLC for a Class E household goods certificate.
Mr. Scarborough, I believe that last item was item number 5.
Yes, ma'am, it is. Item number 5. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Commissioners, we've heard motor carrier or transportation agenda items A1 through A5 identified by Mr. Scarborough. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair,
Vice Chair Powers.
I move the commission approve the applications for Class C and Class E certificates in items number A1 through A5 as listed by Mr. Scarborough.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Vice Chair Powers. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Vice Chair Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion carries.
In Part B of the transportation agenda, we have 3 requests to amend certificates. Items numbered 1 and 2 can be taken together. Item number 1 appears in docket number 2015-267T, which is a request from Dinner with Dimitri LLC, doing business as Dimitri Transportation, to amend Class C non-emergency certificate number 9114 to read Dimitri Transportation LLC. Item number 2 is in docket number 2020-185T, which is a request from Dinner with Dimitri LLC, doing business as Dimitri Transportation, to amend Class C stretcher van certificate number 9534 to read Dimitri Transportation LLC.
Commissioners, with regard to transportation agenda items B1 and B2, is there a motion?
Chair Belzer?
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams is recognized.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I move that the commission approve the request to amend Class C certificates and items numbers B1 and B2 as listed by Mr. Scarborough.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Carol Lee Williams. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, beginning with Commissioner Carol Lee Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The motion carries.
Item number 3 is in docket number 2013-280T. This is a request from Carol Behan, doing business as Port City Car Service, to amend Class C Charter Certificate number 8768 to read Carol Behan / Amy Malloy, doing business as Port City Car Service.
With regard to transportation agenda item B3, do I have a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Irvin,
thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of Carol Behan, doing business as Port City Car Services, request to amend their Class C Charter Certificate number 8768 to read Carol Behan, Amy Malloy, DBA Port City Car Service. So moved.
thank you, Commissioner Irvin. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Irvin. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
In Part C of the transportation agenda, we have 1 petition for reconsideration, which is in docket number 2023-217T. This is the petition for reconsideration of the Commission Directive dated August the 31st, 2023, filed by complainant Michael Lewis Segro.
With regard to transportation agenda item C1, is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Caston,
I move that the commission deny the complainant's petition for reconsideration of the commission directive dated August 31st, 2023. An order memorializing this decision will be issued at a later date.
thank you, Commissioner Caston. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Caston. Is there any discussion? I would just like to note that this complaint was denied due to lack of subject matter jurisdiction, and an order further explaining our earlier order will be issued following this meeting. If there's no further discussion on this item, we'll proceed to a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries.
In Part D of the transportation agenda, we have 1 request for an extension of time. This item is in docket number 342T. This is a request from Living Waters Med Transport LLC for an additional 3-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Thank you, Mr. Scarborough. Commissioners, we've heard transportation agenda item D1 identified by Mr. Scarborough. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Thomas is recognized.
I move that the commission grant the request of Living Waters Med Transport LLC for an extension of time until November the 9th, 2023, to comply with commission rules and regulations. Living Waters Med Transportation LLC's application for Class C non-emergency certificate was granted by Commission Directive Order Number 2022-739, issued on November the 10th, 2022. This extension until November the 9th, 2023 allows Living Waters Med Transport LLC a period of 12 months from the directive order date of November the 10th, 2022 to come into compliance. If the company has not come into compliance by November the 9th, 2023, Living Waters Med Transport LLC may file a new application with the commission when the applicant is ready to comply with commission rules and regulations. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, we've heard the motion from Commissioner Thomas. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed with a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Justin Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chair Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Carol Lee Williams,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston,
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The motion carries.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, this concludes all business noticed before the commission today.
Thank you, Mr. Scarborough. Our next regularly scheduled business meeting is now set for next Thursday, October 5th at 2 p.m. And with that, we will adjourn and wish everyone a good afternoon. We are adjourned.